Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Stewman here. Man, can you believe it has been an entire year? This is our 52nd. So we do these once a week. We haven't missed a week ever since we started. And this is our 52nd episode. So with all logic and numbers combined, we have drawn the conclusion that this is a year that we've been doing this, man. And, you know, on one hand, it seems like I've been doing this for a really long time because I started podcasting in 2011, and thanks to the producer Robert here on the show, Low Energy Robert, thanks to him, he got me back in last year, in I guess sometime around February 21st of last year, he got me back into the podcast. We switched from the Rockstar Closer Radio over to the Hardcore Closer podcast, and then we realized about, I don't know, maybe 30 episodes or so into it, that the Hardcore Closer, I never knew this, like I never put two together, happened to be THC. I'm like, well, looky there, everybody. So then we morphed the name over to the THC Podcast, and that's what you're listening to today. If this is your first time here, you picked an odd episode to show up, but it should be fun and funny. If you've been listening for a while, this is going to be a more casual episode. We're just going to kind of do a recap over the year, talk about some things. It's just me, you, a podcast, and maybe we'll let Robert chime in from time to time as well. But man, I mean, to think about an entire year. Over the last year, I wrote, counting these podcasts, that would mean that I wrote somewhere around 150, a little over 150 blog posts to hardcorecloser.com. If you haven't gone over there and checked out that website yet, if you're listening to this because you found it in iTunes or on YouTube or whatever the case, go over to hardcorecloser.com. I promise you this is my guarantee, right? If you go to that site and use the search bar, whatever you're looking for is on that site. Guess what? If it's not, hit me up. I'll write about it and put it on that site. When it comes to sales, marketing, and lead gen, if I haven't written about it, if I haven't posted a video about it, I'm not doing my job. So you let me know what I'm missing. But more importantly, use the site as a tool. Sign up, get my emails. I email honestly twice a day, but it's always good shit, right? I don't send out a bunch of weird emails. You'll love my stuff, man. Sign up there. And if you're looking for something to, for me to put out there on that site, there's probably other people looking for it as well. Send me a tweet at Hardcore Closer. Just say, hey, have you written an article about this? But go to the site first, sign up, use the search button, because there's a good chance that I have already written it. And I'll give you a copy of my kick-ass take names, email address, and phone numbers. You'll get a digital copy for free for signing up over there too. It's a good book, man. People on Amazon seem to like it. I've sold thousands of copies over the course of 2 years. And it was actually the first book that I ever wrote. And it's basically how to build an online business from scratch through sales. And so you'll absolutely love it. Which also reminds me that you can get a free paperback copy. And the latest ones just came in. We changed some stuff up. So now they're like third edition. They literally just landed on my doorstep yesterday. But you can get the latest edition for free of Elevator to the Top. You can go to elevatortothetop.com. That's my book on sales. Now, listen, there's lots of sales books out there. There's lots of sales books out there that tell you, listen, all you need is some motivation and some inspiration, and it's 1% perspiration, right? They tell you some shit like that, but they don't give you any practical things to arm you and be able to. And really what they're doing is they're selling their programs and stuff like that. While I'm selling my programs through this book, of course, because I am a salesman, what I'm also doing is I'm giving you word tracks, like a complete idiot that's never worked in sales, that was let's just say a bartender or bar back a few weeks ago, could read my book, know what to do in sales, and go get a job somewhere. So imagine if you're somebody of above average intelligence, which you are if you're listening to this show, because, dumb people don't try to expand their career and expand their mind and stuff like that. So considering you're above average intelligence, first of all, congratulate yourself. Second of all, imagine what you can do with this book in your hands. So go over to elevatortothetop.com and get your copy. So look, it's free, right? I'm just trying to give you shit. I'm like, you sign up on my blog, I'll give you one book. You sign up over at Elevator to the Top, I'll even mail you a copy of it. And here's the thing about my books. They're not boring business books. The most common phrase that I get from people who've read my books, or I picked it up to see what it was all about and I couldn't sit it down. I have a unique, just like the way that we roll this podcast or the way that I write my blog post or anything else, I have a unique writing style that is sure to keep you occupied and and suck you in. The only thing is, I warn you, if you start reading my book, expect that it might not be another 2 hours before you come up for air. So last little thing before we move into the show here is we just sent out the membership cards and the February edition of the Break Free Monthly to the Break Free Academy Entourage members. If you're not a member of Entourage, I'm telling you, you're doing yourself a disservice. I've been in all of them, and I'm here telling you, I'm putting my stamp of approval on it, right? There's not a better mastermind / coaching program on the planet. What I've done is I've combined the best parts of every mastermind project that I've ever been a part of. The ones I've done with Frederick Eklund, the ones I've done with Josh Flagg, the ones that I've watched people with, the ones I've done with Frank Kern, the ones I've been a part of with Russell Brunson, the ones that I've done with Kevin Nation. Like, I've taken the best parts of each one of these masterminds, combined them into one service for the low fee of $297 a month. By the way, you can even get a discount if you pay a year in advance, which is $2,500. But here's what you get. And actually, we're doing night school tonight. But here's what you get with this, right? Like, this is going to blow your mind. You get a physical magazine sent to your house every single month. It's called the Break Free Academy Monthly. It's an actual, like, we send it in the mail. It's not some digital bullshit or anything like that. You get a physical copy to keep for your records, and it's our monthly newsletter. Nothing on the internet, nothing in our groups. You can't, like, you only get it for the month that you're a member in. So there's never repeats. There's no archives. Like, you get a fresh perspective that nobody else gets from our Break Free Academy Monthly newsletter. And then on top of that, we send you something in the mail. Like, the first month you get your workbook. The second month you get like your membership card. The third month, I think you get a t-shirt. So we're sending you stuff every single month to your house, the newsletter and a gift for being a member, right? And so that's $297 a month. But listen, there's more. You also get access to our Break Free Academy digital platform. That's where all of my trainings, all of them, every training, every product, anything that you want is all back there. And you get access to it. You want to know about funnels? It's back there. You want to know about Facebook ads? It's back there. You want to know about LinkedIn marketing? It's back there. You want to know about Instagram marketing? It's back there. You want to know sales talk? It's back there. You want to know automation and follow-up and robot shit? It's back there. There's over 200 trainings back there. And you know how I do trainings, right? It's scripts, copy and swipe files that you get access to. All this for $297 a month. And on top of that, we do 2 night schools each month as well. And what night school is at 7 o'clock on the first and third Tuesday of each month. Pat Grabs, my right-hand man, my affiliate manager, he and I do a training. Tonight is when we're recording this, it's Tuesday. It's the third Tuesday of the month. And I'm going to be teaching everybody how to make a solar funnel. So if you sell solar roofing, solar panels, that kind of stuff, this is going to be perfect. And this will be put back. Every single night school is put back in the Break Free Academy digital program. So think about this. You get live coaching from me twice a month called Night School, where I go in, I instruct the group. You get a Facebook group full of people that are networking, and we're about 320 strong right now. It's a brand new program. You get a monthly gift in the mail, plus our magazine, plus access to Break Free Academy Digital, plus access to my team. Plus, we do something called Funnel Chat every single Wednesday as well, where Rob Seckel or whoever fills in for the week goes over all of our latest funnel developments and everything else. So we're loading you up for $300 a month. And it's a lot of content to consume, so you get to pick and choose. That's why we put it for a low price. So you don't have to be in a huge hurry to try to go through all of it. You get to pick and choose what you want. And then we have a flow, basically, that teaches you what to do as soon as you get plugged in and all that as well. So, I don't really advertise my shit very much on here. I really spend my time giving back to you guys. But I'm telling you, whether you decide to read a book of mine or whether you join Entourage, which I'm really pressing upon you to join Entourage, not for the fact of it's nice, I'm going to get paid too, but you're going to make a lot more from that $300 than I am. That's the bottom line. You're going to make a lot more sales, have a lot more power. Listen, if I teach you how to create a funnel and close sales, and let's say that you're already good at closing sales, if I teach you how to create a funnel that converts leads, you can go to your boss and demand a percentage of your commission raise because you're generating your own leads. You can go over to the next company and I've got a guy that got a $500,000 sign-on bonus because he could generate his own leads. He had his own systems. That's the salesperson of the future. And that's what I want to help you become with Break Free Academy Entourage. So go over to breakfreeacademy.com/entourage and get signed up. That'll be I fucking promise you, it will be the best $297 per month you will ever fucking spend. Better, I'm telling you, I've set it up to where if you'll follow the program, you can't lose over there. So, all right, fuck, it's been a year. You know, like I said, I've started the podcast business in we called it the mobile studio, and it was in the front of my 2009 Lincoln MKS. That is an old man's car, but I've always thought and believed in driving old men's cars. That's just fucking me, I guess. And I drive a 4-door Maserati now. It looks like an old man's car. And I guess I'm just an old man at heart. Anyway, and started that in April of 2011. And fast forward, I canceled it in December of 2015. And I had just interviewed everybody that I wanted to. I was over the responsibility of uploading it and then blogging about it and all the other shit that I had to do. And I was just over it. I thought, man, I had given enough. There's 140, 100, maybe 200 episodes or whatever. And I had given up. December, it was me and Alan Dickey was the very last episode. And then Robert hits me up sometime in January and talks me into starting up another podcast. This time he says he'll do the heavy lifting for me. And he has, each week, besides the fact that he's long-winded and fucking talk your ear off and you practically have to hang up on him to get him off the damn Skype, he sets up all my shit. He writes blog posts for me. Every week I show up, he's got the notes prepped. And really it only takes 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes if Robert's still jibber-jabbering on when I'm trying to get some shit done to do the whole episode. And so he really has made it convenient to where I can still continue to come on here and give back to you guys and it not take a massive amount of my time. So the thing is that, I don't mind the responsibility of doing it once a week. It was the work that was adding to it before. So I appreciate you, Robert. Good looking out there, man. You're pulling your weight. It's very rare, man, that somebody works with me for a while that I feel like they really are pulling their weight. I feel like you and I have an agreement, a monetary agreement, and I feel like you have fulfilled that consistently for 52 weeks right now. And you've seen a lot of people come and go from our organization. I'm not the easiest person to work with, and a lot of people have a hard time doing what they said they were going to. So I appreciate your help with this show, Robert. You've done a great job. You've done exactly what you said you were going to, and actually more, because I'm kind of like UPS. If you can run the route quickly, then I'm just going to add more route to you. Got my green juice here. Robert, you're probably muted. I feel like you're talking this whole time. I feel like, because I know you, because you talk a lot. So I feel like you're talking this whole time. You just didn't know that you were on mute.
Nah, but we have, like, sometimes when the show's a wrap and we're finishing up, after it, I have many of times, like, you've gone and I'm sitting there talking to nothing for like a good 5 minutes and I stop and realize there's nobody on the other end of the phone here.
But you got whatever you needed to get off of your chest, right? That's all that matters.
Sometimes that's all you need, bro. Absolutely. No doubt.
So, man, it's been like a running thing between you and I that you always give me some fucking one-off reviews each week, right? It's like and they seem to all come from April. And I shit you not, for a while I thought, man, you're just fucking with me pulling all these up from April or whatever. But dude, I went over to the podcast and scrolled on it. And yeah, no kidding, man. There was a lot of people that reviewed us in that month of April. I was like, it can't all be like this. But I see here you got one from Valentine's Day, so it's one that's up to date. So I appreciate you trying to catch the latest reviews that we do.
No doubt. Yeah, that is a new one. That's not a repeat from last week or the week before or the week before that.
Sometimes they don't know. Sometimes you're scrambling behind the scenes to feed me because we don't know until it's too late. Like, because I don't pre-read these notes you send. I'm just like, shit, we just do it live, right? Like Bill O'Reilly. So, when you give me the same one 2 weeks in a row, you'd be scrambling on the back end. I'm just over here stalling and shit like that. Just like kind of rambling, buying ourselves some time.
I just try to fix it quick before I catch some heat from you. That's all.
I don't think, though, that I don't think we've ever had any heat. I give you a hell of a time all the time, but I don't think that we've ever experienced any kind of technical difficulty that would cause any problems like that, honestly. So,
nope.
Well, let me ask you this, man. So how do you think that we rank when it comes to podcasts? Like I know you track all that shit. I don't. How do you find out if you're like top 50 or whatever the fuck, right? How does that happen?
Well, I mean, I just tend to stick into the to the podcast app through the iTunes and just read go into the different categories, and of course we're listed under business as like the primary category. So I go in and I'll see where we're ranking in that particular time, and see you'll notice that if you go in there, you'll see that certain shows are like consistently in the top, like the Tim Ferriss, right? The Joe Rogans, they're always in those top seats because they're constantly every day. I mean, I think I heard like Joe say something like 90 million downloads or something he's getting. I mean, that's insane, right? I mean, complete, like you couldn't even do that on like major radio, major distribution. So I just go in there and I track through there and see where we're ranking, and all the time when new episodes come out is really when you start kicking up through there because everybody's clamming to listen to it. So I mean, that's great. I've never been involved with a show that's been that far up. I mean, we've been in the top 30 for business in the world. I mean, that's something that's a great accomplishment in my opinion. I know you want number one, but I mean, we got to work our way up.
Yeah, well, I'm looking right now, and at some of these things, it doesn't even look like we're ranked, I guess, right now in the. I'm looking under business, which means you guys need to get your ass over there and leave us a review. It's difficult to leave reviews. It really fucking is, though, man. They don't make it easy. And I guess they rank you by the amount of people that listen. And I think a lot of people listen to our shit on YouTube and from the website more than they do on iTunes as well.
Yeah, I mean, we have it in so many different places. And again, if they do listen from the website, the embeds on the website are via SoundCloud and YouTube. And those are all getting downloads that I can still track all of those analytics. And that's where I look. When I look at the total downloads monthly, right? The total plays monthly, it should totally be in those top. But iTunes is only, of course, ranking the plays that it's getting in iTunes. I mean, bro, look at some of those top ranking shows and look how many reviews they have, and then compare to how many we have. I mean, we have like half 1,000 round, roughly, and there's ones on there with like 24, that I've seen on top killing it. And that's just because they're probably new. They probably have did some promo with another major show. Like a lot of them will be from like Podcast One, for example, or some of these podcast companies, to where they're have a show with like Stone Cold Steve Austin or Shaq or something. And then they'll always run kind of like an ad bumper to, hey, go check out this new podcast from Podcast One at so-and-so. So boom, they go there and it gets a huge influx of subscribers and downloads, which then will move it to those top ranking categories.
The internet is a cruel, cruel bitch, man. You got people who can, and hey, the rules are the rules, but people who can manipulate it to get to the top. But I look over here into the business, and the dudes that are at the top probably belong there. It's like Dave Ramsey and Planet Money and, NPR, those kind of things. So there's Stacking Benjamins, earn, save, and spend money with the plan. Joel Solskjaer. Yeah, this guy's like number one. This guy's Stacking Benjamins over here. It sounds cool, right?
Yeah.
The layman's investor. So anyway, yeah, there's some good podcasts in here, man. One of the top ones, Brooke Cristillo, Life Coach School. I was just at Frank Kern's house, and she was at the mastermind with me. I got to meet her. So
boom. See, that's someone I need to reach out to then.
Yeah, she's good people.
What's
too,
some go-tos for you?
That's their shit, man. You should be putting me on more podcasts because I have been on a lot, dude. I record, 2 or 3 podcast interviews every single week, but not everybody's podcast is a true podcast. So, like when I think podcast, I think it's got to be listed on Apple. And some people, they're like, it's my podcast, and it's just some, audio they upload on YouTube or some shit,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is cool. YouTube shows are great too, but I think if you're going to call it a podcast, it needs to be listed on iTunes.
Well, they're missing the syndication, like, whoa, when they don't use that. Let me ask you a question. This might, some of the sales pro listening in, this could definitely help them. What's like, give me 3 outside of yours, of course. Plus, you strike me as a cat that don't even listen to your own podcast. But what are 3 go-to podcasts for you? Whether it's for entertainment purposes and business, doesn't matter. Just 3 that you got to be tuned into. Joe Rogan is one, I assume, right?
Joe Rogan's really the only podcast that I tune into on a regular basis. The MF CEO is pretty good. I like that guy, Andy Frisella. I don't know him, but I like his shit. It's like no bullshit. It's pretty good. But man, I usually listen to audiobooks, right? That's more my thing. But I'll give you my favorite podcast real quick. So Andy Frisella, which is called the MF CEO. It's badass. It's probably one of the top ones on iTunes. He's pretty popular. Joe Rogan, we'll just that's of course my favorite. So everybody knows that. We'll just put it to the side. But so let's just say Hardcore History is one of my, it's probably next to Joe Rogan. It's my top. And I'm not a big history dude, right? Because history's fucked up, man. Like the Holocaust and wars and the Crusades and shit. History's fucked up. We live in a great time. But man, this guy, Dan Carlin in Hardcore History is it's hardcore, man. He tells you the way he describes things. First of all, he's brilliant. And he's very elaborate. And so the way that he describes the wars that people got into and stuff like that, man, it's awesome. And his podcasts are usually 6 or 8 hours long. And it's complete audio books, dude, but it's sick, man. Hardcore History. You have to, if you're going to listen to it, you're going to have to listen to The Wrath of the Khans, dude. That is the shit. It's about Genghis Khan. Oh, it's fucking awesome. So Hardcore History is good. I like the Addicted to Success podcast, and it's Joel Brown. He's an Australian dude. He has the Addicted to Success website. I write for their stuff, or I have written for one article. I shouldn't be I'm a regular contributor over there. I wrote an article, submitted it to them, they published it over there. I like their stuff. My homie Mark Jennison, he interviews some pretty cool people from time to time on his show too. That's another good podcast. And really, the whole Guys We Slept With is pretty good too. It's these 2 chicks talking about hoeing it up and shit like that. I really get into that. It's pretty funny, man. And occasionally I'll listen to old Ben Settles. I know you asked for 3, but I know people are always asking, what books should you read? I mean, read my books. That's what books you should read. And then they're saying, what podcast should I listen to? And those are mine. Addicted to Success, Hardcore History, Ben Settle, Guys We Slept With. What else did I say? Mark Jennison stuff and the MF CEO.
There you go. Now, those are some good shows. I haven't listened to Guys We Slept With, but the rest I've tuned into. Hardcore History is that's a commitment, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you another thing. So between this the THC podcast and Hardcore Closer Radio, because again, 2 different formats, right? Now let's forget the workload, right? Forget that you have the workload, but what did you like? What's difference? Is there something that you like better about doing the interviews, or do you like doing it in the format and the fashion that we're doing this show? Or is there one that, do you miss not having people to interview?
Not really. I like doing it by myself on the podcast better. But here's the thing. We're about to switch all this up. So we're about to have some, quote unquote sidekicks and stuff, because I really want to take, anybody can listen to and make a podcast where, we do some pretty cool production, but anybody can make a podcast where it's just them talking. And for 52 weeks now, it's been me talking, and really since 2011, pretty damn consistently. And so what I'm thinking is we need to really turn this into a show as if people would tune into it on the radio, and really, like a true talk show. And if you look at a talk show, there is usually a few sidekicks, I guess would be the better word, and wingmen. And so I think that's the format we're going to be laying to, something that's more predictable and everything else. And all it is evolution. Rockstar Closer, I didn't have shit to say, so I interviewed people. Hardcore Closer, the THC podcast here, I've been talking for a year. We've revamped a lot of different subjects and stuff like that. And I'll continue talking, but I want to take it to the next level instead of just me talking to you. I think it's easier if people like eavesdrop on a conversation between me and the other two people that we have on the show, kind of like they're doing now between me and you. And I think that makes it like a predictable thing where it's like, oh, it's Ryan and his crew, and then they talk about current events, and they talk about these sales tracks, and then they talk about this marketing stuff, and it's like a predictable format. That's really what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about kind of before we jumped to hit record here today, and that's something exciting to go into because, I've been a diehard Stern Show fan for years, and I was off it for a little bit, and now recently when we started talking about making some changes, I've been listening to it again, and the way that they just, jump around to different segments, and, they do talk about a lot of serious matters, but then also make it fun, and you're a funny dude, so it only makes sense that we kind of put that through because, hell, salespeople love to, like, horse around and shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I just got this is funny, man. I just got a text here. And this is people, man. People, I'm a big fan of fuck your excuses, right? Mm-hmm. And people will find excuses, right? So this fella is in our entourage program. It was, and he sent a message asking to cancel. And I don't know the fellow. But I wrote an article that says selling insurance is it's a colossal waste of time. And so this fucking asshole, right, who I'll leave his name anonymous here, but this is how fucking simple-minded people are, right?
Let me guess he sells insurance.
He sells insurance, and he says, Ryan says my job doesn't think my job's going to be around in 10 years or so, and then he wrote another article saying it's a waste of time, so how can I get coaching from somebody that doesn't believe that I have a good job? Well, first of all, he did not read either one of those articles, or he would understand the shift. And it's not that I don't think the insurance business will be around. It's that I don't think that we will see near as many insurance agents in the near future. Things like insurance. I don't need my insurance agent every time I need something. I just go online and upload it. And, for the most part, if I didn't know him as a client, I wouldn't even know my insurance agent. So I'm not hating on them. What I'm trying to do is motivate them to make as much money and build the biggest book as they fucking possibly can over the next 5 years in case the robots replace them. He obviously didn't read the article. When I said selling insurance is a colossal waste of time, yeah, that's an attention grabber. But nobody wants insurance. What they want is the result the insurance provides. And so what I'm teaching them is how to sell something other than insurance, which leads to insurance being sold. So in other words, if you're trying to sell somebody on insurance, all they care about is what's it cost. I got to have it. What's it cost? When you start looking at the flip side of what insurance does for them, it's like, okay, awesome. So what are you getting insurance for? Oh, I just got a new car. Or what are you getting insurance for? Oh, I'm trying to save money. And what are you trying to save money for? Well, I'm trying to, save a few extra dollars a month to where I can buy X, Y, Z or whatever. And you start selling that you can help them accomplish that. That's what you sell. Like insurance is just this thing. I always say like nobody wants a mortgage. They want a house. Nobody wants insurance. They want to make sure that in the event that somebody smashes into them, that they're not out every single dollar in their bank account just to be able to buy transportation to and from work again. They want to make sure that if they're hospitalized by somebody else and that somebody else doesn't have any kind of money, then they've got some way to cover themselves to where they won't just have to come out of pocket at somebody else's doing. So they're wanting that peace of mind that they can sleep at night, not being afraid that like around every damn corner is something that could kill us on this planet or hurt us or take money from us. And insurance gives you that peace of mind, right? If people are trying to save money on insurance, it's not because they roll over in the middle of the night and they go, honey, let's talk about insurance. They roll over in the middle of the night and they're like, dude, if we don't save $100 a month, we're never going to be able to pay off that city card. And this thing's compound interesting at 32% and we're just swimming in debt. And once you start selling the solution, it's like, hey, listen, not only can I help you get insurance, which will save you a little bit of money, I can reduce your coverage, which might save you $150 a month. At the same time, if you'll take this $150 a month and put $125 in on the 7th of the month, and then put the other $25 in on the 18th of the month, you'll shorten the cycle on the interest, which will allow you to escalate and pay this thing off quicker. And so if you start advising them on that, then they feel like you owe them, like, dude, we should use this guy. He's really smart. He just told us how to fucking shorten the interest rate life on our credit cards. That's pretty brilliant, right? And so all of a sudden you create value for them that something just selling insurance, which a robot can do, can't, right? And so, but it's funny, the guy asked to cancel, and it's never about the guy canceling. He's using this as an excuse to duck out, right? We call that the vault, Robert. And what happens is, like, the vault, that we have this vault in our head. It's full of knowledge and full of feelings and emotions. And this vault in the back of our head simply says, like, if it's filled up with bullshit. So a lot of people say they look for a reason to quit. And the vault says, hey, man, this guy doesn't even like insurance agents. Why are you giving him money? When really, if he would have read my article, if he would have indulged in just like tried what I'm teaching in that article, he would have sold more insurance and made more money. But look, I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat shit for fucking snowflakes that can't fucking take the harsh reality that their job might go away. Right? So what if it doesn't? What if I'm fucking wrong? But what if it does and you ignored the fucking signs and you didn't work and save money, man? That's foolish. Right? If like the whole world's telling you that this company's going bankrupt to pull your fucking money out of it, and you don't pull your money out of it and the company goes bankrupt, fuck. But if you listen to the world and you pulled your money out at the right time, then you did no damage and you're safe. That's all I'm trying to do here. But it's funny, like, people will find an excuse. Don't you agree, Robert? Like, they'll find an excuse not to get the reward and the results that they've wanted their whole life. They'll find a way to fucking ring the bell. Motherfuckers train their entire life to go be a Navy SEAL, and 24 hours into Hell Week, knowing it lasts 7 days, they start ringing the fucking bell. Same with my people. They want this whole I want to be rich. I want to make a lot of money. I want this lifestyle. I want the fast cars. I want to be able to pay all my bills off, but then they're not willing to do the work. And, we try to weed those folks out. So maybe it's good that this person's gone, but it's frustrating to me, man, because all I'm here is to help people. And Robert, on this podcast, we've always been dead serious. There's no motivation and inspiration. And hey, you can do it, buddy. Like, I don't believe in that shit, but a lot of people, that's what they fucking need. Right? They need some sugar-coated bullshit to fucking try to help them feel like it's okay for being a failure and quitting and shit their whole entire lives. I can't fucking do it. It's not in me, man. And what's in me is to say, hey, man, that's the vault talking. You got a bunch of bullshit emotions stored up. It's full of fucking counterfeit. You need to empty all that counterfeit out. You need to fucking take the money out of the vault that's counterfeit, burn that shit, put good money in there so that you have good experiences and you can fucking talk from a viewpoint that's not like limiting belief. You know what I'm saying? So they went off on a 15-minute tangent on that shit. But it's crazy that people think that way,
Well, it's crazy.
And it's even crazier that dude rang the bell and didn't read the whole article, or he would be like, dude, this is the best article ever, because I've sent the article about 50 people on LinkedIn and they've all been sharing it and everything else. They're like, this is great. Thanks for the advice.
Well, he's suffers from, I think, what a lot of people do is they're just headline readers. You know what I mean? They don't get that. They don't understand, first off, writing copy, and that the headline is designed for you to, like, at least read the damn article, right? Especially if you see that, you'd probably, if he really cared, he'd want to dive in and see what it was about. But in fact, he just let the headline base tell the story to him, what he assumes the story is, and he got it wrong.
Well, check this out. So this gets even better. So I'm looking back here, and one of my staff members talked the guy into staying on. That's awesome. And it's like, hey, man, just take a look at it and read it. That's awesome. So, hey, good news prevails, right? Sometimes you got to fucking force people, Clockwork Orange, to fucking hope in their eyes, man, and your basketball coach, your football coach in school, he wasn't the dude that was like, maybe you went to a weird school, but he wasn't the guy to like pat you on the ass and go, man, it's okay, you gave it a try. He was my coach, and anything that I ever did was get your ass back out there, Stewman, and do your fucking job, right? Like, that's the way that we're programmed to work. But then we get out here in the real world, and when things aren't exactly as everybody wants, they get a little sensitive. And here's a lot of people did get sensitive about that. The car guys got mad. The insurance guys got mad. The loan officers got mad. And look, what if I'm wrong? That fucking dude, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But what if I'm right and you work like I'm right and you have the best next 5 years of your life and I helped you save up a bunch of money, make a bunch of extra money, and it was like Y2K, nothing happened. But I can tell you what, when Y2K happened, I had a bunch of guns, I had fucking stockpiles of food and all that shit, and we were out in the fucking country just in case. And nothing happened. It was like, okay, cool. We ate the food and fucking shot the guns out in the country and went back to the fucking city where we live. It was no big deal. But everybody else, what if it wouldn't have happened, right? If it would have happened, and this, we were fortunate enough at Y2K that it didn't, but if it would have happened, there'd have been a lot of motherfuckers starving within a day or so with no guns, no means of killing anything because they didn't fucking trust it. I'm just saying, better to be prepared and not need it than unprepared and dying from it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, why? And getting mad, there's no reason for someone to get mad, regardless.
All I'm trying to do is help, man. You know, all I'm trying to do is help. I tell you this a lot because, you know, we talk outside the show and stuff, but man, you know, I have other businesses and they do well. And like, I'm going to, you know, I've started another flip house here. I run a real estate shit on the side, and I do this blogging and podcasting and giving back to fucking help. I've had a job taken from me before. In 2010, the Dodd-Frank Act passed, and my job ended immediately. And what's funny with the loan officers, they're like saying, hey, you say this job's not going to be around. I was there in 2005 when there was a 70% exit. 70% of the loan officers exited the workforce. I've seen this shit firsthand in 2005. But and most of the people that were hating on me were part of that 70% exodus that happened back then. And it's funny to see that they're like, oh, it would never happen. They'll never not need me. Like, bro, they fucking not needed you before. Like this, you know, I'm just given a different fucking reason for the job maybe going away. Maybe it doesn't. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong as fuck. But I'd rather fucking pretend like I'm right. And that's what I'm doing. You know, what people fail to realize, Robert, is if sales jobs go away, then what the fuck am I going to do? That's what I do, is I sell to salespeople. So it's not in my best interest for salespeople to go away. I'm trying to fucking help us. I'm trying to make sure that in the event for some reason we do go away, then we've got some other shit that we can do, right? And I'm trying to lead the way in these side businesses. And I don't think salespeople will ever go away. But the way that salespeople are hired and the job that they do is going to dramatically shift soon. And you know, I want to just fucking help people. That's all. I've said that a million times every episode. And, you know, like I said, I don't have to do all this stuff. It provides a great living, but I'm a salesperson. I can go get a gig doing anything, provide a great living. We're going to make probably millions of dollars this year flipping houses if everything goes accordingly. And so, you know, I do all this stuff because I want to give back to the community. And sometimes when you got to give back, you got to tell them a harsh reality. And sometimes people ain't trying to hear that shit, you know, but there's plenty of people that'll sell you some fucking, you know, sugar-coated medicine out there. You won't get that here, ever. I'll tell it like it is.
Well, what do you think that is? So, okay, with no sugarcoating, of course, that is going to be the biggest, like, culture shift moving forward with salespeople, like, coming up, like the next closest, biggest shift that they should be prepared for, or that's already happening that some just aren't, you know, grasping or owning up to yet, or want to admit that's happening.
It's all about technology. There's two things going on, Robert, right now that, you know, salespeople, they're just doing day-to-day activity and they don't think about stuff like this. This is why people are in entourage. This is why people are in the tribe, so that I can coach them and I can be the lookout. Like, I'm the watchdog for this. But what's happening is there's two types of things going on out there. One of each. You either work for a company that has the technology or you have the technology. When you work for a company that has the technology, you rely on their leads, their marketing, their advertising, and that's fine. But you have like no proprietary, no database, no nothing. It belongs to the company. Those guys, the inbound lead guys, will get paid less than the guys that have their own database, their own list, their own funnels and their own technology. Now, you see, think about it this way, Robert. If there's two people going to apply for a job, there's Jim, who is 50 years old. He's been a salesman his entire life. He's earned multiple six figures each year as a salesman. He's good face-to-face and on the phone making cold calls. And then there's, Dunstan. He's 21. He's a technology wizard. He's got his BA from college, and he's got his own database and list of consumers that he's already got through SEO and social media ad acquisition. And so once he shows up, he gets instant sales from the internet for your company. Which one of those two guys is going to get the job, do you think?
Dunstan.
That's right, man. The fucking youngster with the technology. And here's the thing, man. I'm 37 years old. None of us are like spring chickens. You know what I'm saying? Like it like the old sales dogs, we might be those fucking guys now. I'm pushing 40, right? And so at 40 years old, like I'm the older sales dude in the office if I was to go work in the corporate world. If you're 40 or 50, you're the older dude in the game too. These youngsters got this shit figured out. I love them. Everybody's like, millennials are lazy. No, they're brilliant because they figure out how to use technology and stuff to do the things they don't want to do. And if you think that, they like millennials, they don't want to make cold calls. So what do? They're going to create technology, landing pages, follow-up sequences, and everything else that does the job for them. They're going to take, that's like the robots that took the factory workers' jobs for like GM. Remember when they installed all those robots and they got rid of so many factory workers? Man, that's the same thing. These youngsters they have their own robots.
So
somewhere out there, there's like a young Tony Stark coming soon, right? Yeah. Before long. The next biggest shift in sales is going to be augmented reality. Your client's going to be online and plugged in, and they're going to put Google goggles on or whatever the fuck those things are that you get at the airport that you see. And then you or a hologram of you or a pre-recorded fucking video of you or whatever the fuck it is going to be on the other side over there selling them. I think sales training is going to become like a virtual, not sales training. I think selling will become like a virtual reality thing where what I see the next evolution of Facebook being is we all put these goggles on and decide we want to hang out at the bar, and we all are in virtual reality thinking we're hanging out at the bar together when all we are sitting at home on our couch fucking with goggles on. It's coming. These guys are working on it. People are like, there's no way that my job won't be here. And I'm like, bro, they have fucking virtual reality. You can fuck a porn star in another dimension with your fucking dick in your hand here in America. Like, it's fucking crazy. Like the amount. And here's the thing, like, we are at a pivotal point in time. And, there's this thing called Moore's Law. And every year, processors, like the dude worked for Intel. Every year, processors double in their capacity. So one year you have 512 RAM. The next year you have 1,024 RAM. And right now we're up to like 8 million RAM. Well, the same thing goes, that law applies to us here on this planet with knowledge. You see, from like the beginning of time to the 1800s, like knowledge doubled. We burned books, crusades, all that shit. Then it doubled again in like 1970. Then it doubled again in like 1990 something. And now by the time 2033 comes around or some shit like that, we'll be doubling knowledge every 72 hours. Dude, if the machines can think and sell faster than us, what the fuck makes us think we're safe? Do I want that to happen? Fuck no, I don't want it to happen. Will it happen? I don't know, but it could. It's a fucking major possibility. All I'm saying is hustle your ass off right now like you're about to lose your job, and you won't be fucking disappointed, and it won't matter if the shit comes or not anyway because you'll have a bunch of fucking money stacked up.
Yeah, they got to work on making those goggles look a little bit cooler though, man. I mean, it looks really nerdy sitting around rocking those goggles no matter whether you're at home or out and about.
Yeah, the Snapchat ones look like shit too. Yeah, the Snapchat ones look like shit.
Especially when you're a guy like me that has glasses. So like that's why I don't do 3D movies with my kids, because it's really almost humiliating wearing the glasses over the glasses look. Like, it's not a good look. And that's what they're going to have to do with these goggles, is make them like a little bit cooler, or maybe buy glasses that have them built in or something. And speaking of back to the guy like the Dunstan. So the Dunstan, like that rainmaker that brings his own leads, brings his own sales to the table, as opposed to the Jim, who's great with following up, closing the leads from the technology and the lead sources that are being provided to him by his employer. Do you see usually that like Dunstan's leads will close at a higher ratio and pay more money in more cases than Jim, who's working with solely the leads generated by the organization?
Well, with the new guy, like the dude that's cold calling, door knocking the old school ways, he can hit 300 calls a day with a dialer, maybe 800. He can knock 50 doors a day. Maybe if he works fucking late at night, he might knock 100. But with this dude, let's say Dunstan, like we generate 2,500 leads a week. And so say his business is scalable like that. Even if he's only closing 1 to 7%, which is the average for internet stuff, right? 1 to 7% closing ratio to buyers. Even if he's only doing that, if he's generating 2,500 leads a week and he's closing 1%, that's still better than the 400 leads a week that Jim's working and he's closing, let's say 15%, 20% if he's a stone cold closer. The dude that's getting 2,500 at 1 to 7% is still going to have more deals and close more. And then he's got long-term follow-up with a bigger list that's only eventually going to snowball and work out anyway. Like the average person with me, the average person watches and listens for about 6 to 8 months before they purchase anything. They have to go through all their judgment phases and everything like that. So, we don't get paid immediately from very many people, but we follow up with them very well. And over the course of time, we do.
Gotcha. So I guess it all comes down to kind of their buying cycle and then the quality. Like, what if the way that they're generating leads is different? I mean, there is, as you certainly know, there's ways to generate better quality leads and a way to generate poor quality leads.
Yep. I mean, well, even the poor quality leads aren't leads. Let's just be real. Like I had an insurance agent one time that I worked with, and their whole advertising strategy was, do you live in Chicago? Do you want a free iPad? Enter your name and email address in order to win a free iPad, right? And it was like they were doing a drawing once a week. Well, they would call everybody who entered the drawing because, look, if you breathe, you need insurance, right? But if you're expecting to win an iPad and someone calls you selling insurance, like, get the fuck out of here. And sure, they were good salespeople, so they converted a few of them. But, dude, that's like, first of all, that's shady-ass practice. But second of all, it's like nobody was like, hey, I want an iPad, not a fucking new insurance policy. And, so like those are bad leads. If you got a lead where you're like, hey, if you're looking to lower your insurance bill, or hey, if you're, when's the last time you had your insurance audited and someone gives you their name, email address, and phone number, that's a fucking good lead. So it's just a matter of how you position your offer.
Gotcha. That's what I was figuring. Yeah, they might as well just be making cold calls if you're just going to call somebody that wants to submit it for a free iPad, try to sell them something.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I would rather, like, for our 2,500 leads, there's no bait and switch there. It's like, hey, they're looking for, they're looking to be a blog subscriber or get a free book or something of that nature. And, they know what they're getting into. It's like as soon as they become a lead for us, they're like, okay, at some point, this dude named Hardcore Closer is going to try to sell me on a sales training shit. Until then, I'm just going to stay on his list. There's no gimmicks, and I think you can run any business that way. A lot of people get scared and they're like, well, it costs too much per click. I'm like, but if your shit is no gimmick and it does what it's supposed to do, then it doesn't matter if you're spending $100 a click. Like realtors, they'll say, they'll say things like, well, on Google, it's $100 a click or $200 a click. And I'm like, just make sure your website has a really clear offer. If you're looking for houses in this area, enter your information right here. We'll give you a free list of foreclosures. And so like that's like a very clear offer, so that when they click on your ad that says looking for a list of foreclosures in Dallas, and then they read saying enter your info, we'll give you this list. Pretty much no brainer, right? Mm-hmm. And it's all about the offer.
Yeah, that's where, people that I've seen that struggle with PPC, like with Google AdWords and even Facebook is, yeah, they're getting the clicks, but they're not getting the conversion. And a lot of times that'll go down to just the offer's not clear, or the copy sucks, or the page is not set up, nice, that the landing page is weak. And that's sometimes the clicks is, you can buy the traffic. That's actually the easy part, right? But it's then converting that traffic is where I see the struggles.
Yeah, but again, that's the salesperson of the future, and that's what I'm over here doing while a lot of the other guys are out there talking about, things that work. I'm not knocking that they work. They always have worked. I'm telling you that we're seeing things shift fast, and the machines are getting smarter and smarter and more powerful and more powerful. We're setting up things like behavioral dynamic response marketing, like we're learning from Frank Kern. And you have sites like ClickFunnels that's doing amazing things. You have sites like Infusionsoft that's doing amazing things. I believe we live in an API community and an API economy where things like Zapier and ClickFunnels and Infusionsoft will be, determining like literally robot behavior on people, and they'll ultimately evolve. I believe eventually we'll be selling via hologram and stuff. It's happening, folks. There's no fucking denying it, right? It's happening. And I just want the fucking community to be aware. That's why we do this show. That's why I write the blog post to help you get all you can get while we can get it. And it's ludicrous for anybody to think that I would want salespeople to go away. Ryan says my job's going away. Well, fuck, dude, if you lose your job, I'm probably going to lose mine too. Right? If 70% of the fucking salespeople in the fucking force leave, shit, that's 70% of the fucking income sources that I had too. I don't want that to happen. I'm here fucking trying to save the world. I'm the hero in this equation. I'm a hero, damn it. So, dude, this is like the longest episode ever. We just like fucking been on here shooting the shit,
Yeah, I was going to say, man, if you're ready to put a bow on it and wrap it up, I know you got somewhere to be here a little bit later.
Yeah, we got a little funnel hacking going on, which, by the way, you can go over to hardcorecloser.com/CF, I think it is. And I shall tell you in 2 seconds here. And you can get a free trial of ClickFunnels. Yep, it's hardcorecloser.com/CF. Just click the little banner there. They'll give you a 14-day trial. I'm going to go and check out the event later today. Tony Robbins and some of those guys are speaking there. So hopefully, if things go well, I'll get to meet old Tony. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it would.
So, all right, man. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back to our normal shit soon next week, and then we're going to be switching it up to where we have an actual like not a staff. What do you call it? When it's like a cast.
A cast.
There you go. We'll have a whole fucking cast. Great. Thank you. Thanks, man. So, all right, everybody. Hey, thanks for listening. It's been a cool year. Here's to many more, everybody. Later.